Well, it's awesome talking to you guys again. I'm so excited about this.
Yes.
I was
Yes,
like,
it was good.
season 2 coming? I kept checking, and then it was like, oh, it's coming in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, okay. There was like no renewal announcement. It was just on.
I know.
So, were you guys more comfortable rapping this time around after filming season 1?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. I feel like we just jumped in the studio like it was nothing this time. We were just like, you ready? You want to go first? It was just
Yes.
like,
Yes.
it was just like nothing. We were ready.
Yes. The first time it was like completely new. And this time it's like, okay, this is a little bit familiar now. Like I got this a little bit more
Mhm.
confident, a little bit more cocky.
Were you guys more comfortable with your characters this time around? Like, how was your energy and vibe walking into your character this time around compared to first season? Because your characters are a bit different this season as well.
I personally was nervous this season because I see season 1, Malika was more, I feel like she was more even keel. Like she definitely had her highs and her lows, but this season I just kept reading the script and it was like Malika cries, Malika cries, Malika cries. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, how am I gonna pull this off? Like, how am I gonna be depressed all season?
Mm-hmm.
And that really made me nervous because I feel like it's emotional scenes can get very difficult, especially when you have to do them over and over and over, or you have like 3 emotional scenes back to back. Like sometimes even like your tear ducts can just get dried out and you can't even cry anymore. So that was nervous. I was nervous about that, definitely.
And then yeah, for me, I mean, I felt pretty comfortable because I feel like this season, like she has some lows, but Malika's definitely going through it. And I feel like Renee's just like acting like, wee, like, yay, like everything's going good, oh, whatever, this, that. So, like, I definitely felt comfortable because I was like, okay, the stakes are high at times, but majority wise, she's having a good time, even if she shouldn't be. She's like, whatever.
I feel like last season, I was like, Malika shouldn't be named Cold. Like, she's not cold. Um,
Right?
but this season, I'm like, oh, she is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I
I thought
understand
that way too.
like why she got the nickname Cold, but she in between so much has happened. She lost Marlon, and that there's just like a darkness to her, which is really sad. Was Sh'Kia for you? Was it odd to kind of play Malika in this way because she was so much in love? There's roses, like she has her little family together, and this time she's alone, very pregnant.
I think it was actually easy to play to at least be in that mindset because I feel like season 1, I had a lot of reasons to be happy. Like I had Marlon in scenes with me. So it's easy to kind of be lovey dovey when your dialogue is lovey dovey and you're hugged up with some guy and you're just laughing and you got your wedding ring and you're just in La La Land. But this season, being that Malika's actually pregnant, and she doesn't have Marlon. In every other scene, I'm like looking at his photo, or like I know he's dead. Um, I think it was easy to get into that mindset because I think the circumstances were just there. Gigi has cancer. It's like every scene is like kind of built for her to already be depressed. Like there's really how she tells Renee in episode 1, there's nothing to be happy about. Like not even this baby. And then in real life, my feet are hurting. I'm tired. It's hot in Atlanta. So and like even Atlanta was all over the place. Like one day it was raining, then the next day it was hot, and then the next day it was cold. I was like, what is going on? So I
Mhm.
think I was like naturally frustrated. So coming into scene, I'm like, man, it's hot. Let's just film this scene. So
Yeah.
I think it all worked out.
Yeah, you were, from what I read, you were 30 weeks pregnant to 34 weeks. Did you guys ever consider filming after you were pregnant, or your character not being pregnant and that you're always doing laundry or by a computer?
Yeah, I think they wanted to. I think we were supposed to film in like January, but then they kept pushing it back. So if they would have filmed in January, I think it would have been easier to hide. But I think they were like, "Oh, we'll film in June," and but I was due in May, and I was like, "I am not leaving my baby at 6 weeks. I'm not coming to Atlanta. You're gonna have to wait like a few months or something." So they were like, "Oh, we'll just do it earlier," but it still wasn't earlier. It was I was 30 weeks. And by that time they just squeezed it in during that 4 week window. So by that time I was a load. There was no way they were going to be able to hide it. I had the baby cheeks. I had the baby weight all over the place. Like that, they wouldn't have been able to hide it. It would have just been impossible. I had the waddle going, so they had no choice but to add it in, I think.
Did it feel kind of meta to you? Because a lot of times during the show, they're like, oh, well, we're just going to have to figure out what to do with Malika because no one wants this pregnant woman around. She's not sexy, even though she's showing what happens when you have sex. Like, did it feel very meta as like a woman within the industry?
Yes, and I think they shine a light on what it really is like being pregnant. Like you're treated like a person that's gonna inconvenience everybody. Even though everybody was born from a woman, everybody is here because somebody was pregnant at one point in time. I think pregnant women have been able to accomplish things. But I think the show also shines a light on how women in the industry are kind of showing that pregnancy is normal. Women are pregnant every day. Yeah, it can be, there are different things that could happen. Like, of course, things could have went wrong, and I could have definitely just went into labor in the middle of a scene. But also, it's a normal part of life. So I love that the show shines a light on people like Cardi B and Rihanna who have been pregnant and are showing it. People like Beyonce who performed pregnant and are kind of showing that I still have two legs. I can still walk as long as I'm healthy. There's nothing to worry about. Plenty of women work up until 39 weeks until they're ready to pop, still wearing heels, still healthy, and it's normal. It's okay. You don't have to panic because a woman is pregnant.
Yeah. Nijah, do you feel like sometimes Renee gets a bad rap?
Like she's like shining a bad light.
No, as in like there's a scene where she messes up something at a location and they're like, oh, like Renee ruins everything that like, oh, and it's just like just give them a $50 staple gift card. Like it's really not that big of a deal.
I do feel like sometimes it's like, guys, it's not that big of a deal. But also, I do feel like Renee says things aren't a big deal when they really are. Like, she's a lot of times just like, oh, whatever. Like, I mean, it's not that big. And like, just oblivious to what's going on because she doesn't want to deal. And so I think that's probably like where that comes from. But then, like most people that are constantly like messing things up, they don't get breaks. It's like, dang, like cut them a break sometimes. They're still human. So, yeah.
What is in your lean cup? Because you're always drinking, and I'm going to hope that it's not actually.
No, yeah, no, that's so funny. My mom thought I was really smoking weed, or she thought I was really smoking like something like weed when I would always be smoking. I'm like, no, I would never know my lines. I will always be messing up. Like it would be too much, like it wouldn't be good. But it is usually vitamin water or flavored water with a Jolly Rancher in it. So like real lean, of course, it's like cough syrup and like, but I would do like vitamin water and it would be good too. So I would have to like sometimes take pretend sips because I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to stop the scene to go to the bathroom because I keep drinking this so hard. But yeah, so that's what it would be all the time. And I'm like, well, that's good. It's something good because of course, if I had a lean cup that I never drank from, it would be like, she don't really like that. Like she doesn't. And I'm like so addicted to it. So, yeah.
We see that Renee is finding other people that she is interested in, but also that Malika is still her main person. Do you think there's any romantic love there? Like, why is she so focused on Malika?
I really feel like I don't think it's like romantic at all. I definitely think there is some obsession there, but almost kind of like an ownership type of thing. I really think she doesn't like have anyone. And so the thought, like she's been friends and cool with Malika for so long. And I think Renee acknowledges that that Malika, I mix Renee and Malika.
That's their couple name, their friendship name.
That I think they noticed that. I think she notices that Malika is definitely more grounded than she is. So when you're with someone so long and like y'all break up, you feel like you lose yourself. And I feel like Renee's still in the process of trying to find herself. So like losing Malika is just like, it's just too much. It's just too much at once. So it's like, in a sense, like you have to stay here with me for me, kind of like the selfishness. And like you kind of make things okay. It's almost like an unhealthy relationship. Like your friend that's like, you really need to break up with him, but in order to do that, you would need to love and find yourself to know you can live without him. I don't think that she feels like she could live without her. Like almost like she's a mom or something. Like I think I put too much weight on Malika for sure.
Do you think it's kind for both of you? Do you think their relationship is like, if we can't be together in our friendship, that like that Renee is kind of like, if I can't have you, no one can?
Ooh, I definitely think so. I mean, I can see, especially too, also the music. Like the music is another thing. I think I like the fame, I like the money, like the notoriety. I like us being a group together. And so it's like that on top of our friendship. It's like, how dare you leave me? Who's a better friend than us? Like, what do you mean? And some friendships are possessive like that. It's a little weird, but that's
and I think Malika and Renee, they kind of have, I know we hear this term going around a lot, a trauma bond, because I know Nijah emphasized this last season that they both grew up without parents. They both were raised by Gigi. So they kind of are like, they're not related, but they're kind of like sisters, and they have a very, very strong relationship, and they depend on each other a lot of times. And I think, especially to be in your 20s and to have grown up together, that is a very long time to, number one, be in a relationship with anyone, and then to kind of imagine, oh, I have to go on in my life without this person, not just as a friend but also as a business partner. It's like you're turning your whole world upside down. I think for Malika it's probably a little easier because she's been kind of practicing going solo here and there, but I think when she lost Marlon, I feel like she kind of went from one trauma bond to the next. Like she was gonna move on with Marlon, and now it's easy for her to leave Renee behind because she has someone else.
Yeah.
But now that Marlon is gone, it's like, oh, I'm back. I'm back being by myself now. I need Renee. I need somebody. And I think that's kind of just innate for all humans. We all want some type of relationship, some type of partnership. We all want to be with somebody. And if it's not our girls, it's our man. If it's not our man, it's our girls. Or even some people might confide in their kids or their parents. Like there's all types of relationships that we have in life. And since Malika doesn't have it with her mom, her dad, Gigi by way of Renee, she can't even see Gigi without seeing Renee. So they kind of come hand in hand as well. I think she's just in a place where she needs something that's familiar. And now that Marlon isn't here, Renee is the safe space, even if it's really not a safe space. It's better than nothing to her, I think.
Yes, so true. Well, congrats on everything, your families, your career, all of that. I can't wait to talk about season 3. I'm already putting out there, and your future projects. You're both going to be booked and busy, and I can't wait to talk about that. And yes, we will talk soon. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you.